fans. For the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies!
What do you say, everybody, and welcome to the first ever live Knoxville Smokies pilot pregame show, and what a great place to get this thing started. One of our favorite places, Boyd's Jig and Reel, here in the Old City, right near the ballpark, and it is really great to talk to you guys about the Smokies and their opponent tonight, who are kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, the Columbus Clingstones, who have beaten the Smokies in extra innings the last 3 games.
I know.
Richie Giuliano, can I introduce you first?
Yeah,
This is Richie Giuliano. I'm Mick Gillespie. Connor Nelson producing. All right, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, one of the craziest weeks I think we've ever seen, you know, being together the last 3 years, 3 consecutive nights where the Smokies score a run in the 9th inning to tie the game and lose in extra innings. Have you ever seen this in your career?
No, and I've been around a long time. I mean, I've been hanging around the old ballpark for a while with the Smokies. And these have been like 3 games where I've gone home and just want to kick rocks the whole way. Like, did this just happen again? It's deja vu. You know, we tied in the 9th. They were down 1-0 into the bottom of the 9th last night. They tie it, then they don't score to win it, and they don't score in the 10th, and then in the 11th they give up 3 runs. You lose 4-1. So tough loss for the Smokies. Let me tell you guys this, that we're really proud to be here today, and our show's brought to you by Pilot. Pilot is committed to connecting people and places with comfort, care, and a smile at every stop. Check out one of our conveniently located stations and try our delicious burritos, jumbo wings, tenders, pizza, home-style meals, and more. Pilot, see you out there. This place right here, Boyd's Jig and Reel, Jenny Boyd, who I absolutely love Jenny, love Randy. Have enjoyed getting to know them over the years, not just as the owner of Boyd's Jig and Reel, but also as the owners of the Tennessee Smokies. But great people, and it's just something that they're so proud of. This particular bar, restaurant is like, this is Jenny, the apple of Jenny's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she loves the Scottish music. She plays the fiddle. I walk in and I see Pop, my fiddle playing Grandfather on the wall. So it's like, hey, this is so cool. I love this place.
Yeah, I mean, I love it here, too. The last time we were here, we had a gentleman greet us at the door in the greatest Scottish accent I've ever heard. And it's been stuck in my head ever since. When we were walking over here, I kept saying it to Connor and Cole, and they're like, you have the worst Scottish accent I've ever heard. And I was like, I think it's pretty good. What did you say I sounded like, Connor?
I can't say that. Yeah, he's not mic'd up, so let's keep it over here, Rich. Thank you. For those of you guys that are watching on the Smoky Stadium scoreboard, hey, hi, we're here. Great to talk to all you guys that are at Covenant Health Park for tonight's Knoxville and Columbus game. First pitch set for 7 o'clock. This is a game that I feel like the Smokies really have to win, and I'll tell you it's because when you drop games in extra innings 3 straight nights at home, all of a sudden the Smokies were in first place, falling back, but the series is only halfway through. And, we take a look at what's going on tonight, and I guess it starts with the Southern League standings. And the Smokies currently sit in second place in the North Division. The Barons are now 2 games ahead, and the problem is that by losing these games, they're kind of falling back in the standings.
Yeah, right. And you know what? Last week it was Columbus who took care of Birmingham, winning 4 out of the 5. And we felt good with the series we played in Chattanooga, winning the doubleheader on Sunday, taking first place. And then all of a sudden you lose 3 consecutive heartbreak games at home. And last night was a tremendous crowd. We want to thank all the fans last night at Covenant Health Park. I think the half-off beers definitely had a factor into that, which was a lot of fun. And we're going to do that every Thursday night at the ballpark. But it was a heartbreaking game last night, especially because in the 10th inning, we held them scoreless, had a chance to win the game with a runner at third, failed to score. Hopefully tonight we don't have to bat in the 9th inning. That's the key to the game. Don't bat in the 9th inning tonight.
Yeah, you were saying that from the very outset after the way that things went. You're like, hey, what would be great is if we don't bat in the 9th inning, then that means that we win. So taking a look at the standings right now, you got the Smokies in, second place. And I'm going to throw it up on the screen so everybody can look at it. But, well, maybe not. Your computer. See, I'm using Richie's computer, so everything's slow. 2 games the Smokies are behind in the standings. Chattanooga's 2.5 games back, and then Rocket City 7 games back. Over in the South, Columbus has won all these games 3 in a row. They've won back-to-back series. They've won 7 out of 10, but they're still 5 games back in last place because Biloxi won't lose. Mm-hmm. The Shuckers, the Milwaukee Brewers affiliate, the next series for the Smokies, 22-14. They've won 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the South that has won the Southern League this year. The South has absolutely killed the North. You have Rocket City really struggling this year as you take a look at the standings here on the scoreboard. And then at the top, I think we're going to have some trouble in Biloxi. That is a really hot club right now. But that's also a very fun road trip for these guys down on the beach with all the casinos. And we make that trip twice this year, which is rare, but definitely going to be fun to play in Biloxi twice.
Well, tonight's pitching matchup, when you talk about trying to get back on track, a team's only as hot as the next day's starting pitcher, right? And so for today, the Smokies will go with Grant Kipp. He's a 25-year-old from Dallas, Oklahoma. Not Dallas, Texas, Dallas, Oklahoma. And he signed by the Cubs as a free agent in 22. This is the 7th start of the season for him, and in his last appearance, he threw 4 innings, allowing just 1 run at Chattanooga. So a 2-2 record for Kipp this year, and a 3.76 ERA. That's in 26 and a third innings. And, Rich, the Smokies need him to be a stopper. Yeah,
they do. And looking at his highlights here, a lot of starting pitchers in this league like to throw their breaking balls when they're ahead. What I like about Kipp, even when he's got a 2-strike count, he attacks you with that fastball, catches a lot of hitters off balance, and he has really good strikeout numbers, a 2-2 record and a 3.76 ERA. Was the first ever pitcher to pitch here at Covenant Health Park. So, pretty cool history under his name, and we do need him to have a great performance tonight. I don't think the pitching's been the problem in this series against the Clinkstones. The bats, they'll get there, but I think the starting pitching has been pretty good this year.
Well, for the Clinkstones, the Atlanta Braves affiliate, and of course the Smokies are the Chicago Cubs, but it'll be Blake Burkhalter, who is a 24-year-old from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and a second-round pick by Atlanta out of Auburn. So how about that? From Tuscaloosa, but he went to Auburn. This is the 7th start of the season for him, and he has yet to allow a home run this entire year. But he's 1-3 on the year, a 3.38 ERA. That's over 29 in the third innings. Another really good arm for this team. And when you look at the record, it was the offense that was kind of slow to start, but the pitching's been there for this Braves affiliate, and then this is another tough starter.
Yeah, it is. Burkhalter actually transitioned from a reliever in college to a starting pitcher. With Auburn, he was second in the country with 16 saves in 2022. A really good arm. He was drafted in the 2nd round out of Auburn by the Braves, and a guy that they've relied on in their starting rotation this year, but has given up a lot of hits. When you look at his numbers, he's given up 27 hits in 29 innings. So there have been teams that have been able to crack the code for Burkhalter. He's got a 4-pitch mix: fastball, cutter, sweeper, and changeup. A lot of movement on his pitches, but if you can't throw him for strikes, his fastball is pretty flat and very predictable.
All right, well, that's what the Smokies need. They need something, right? And hopefully that is getting after it pretty early. So the Smokies 16-18, and the Clinkstones 16-18. One team's won 3 straight. That's the Braves affiliate, and the Smokies looking to end that streak tonight at 7 o'clock. Mint Gaming Hall leadoff batter. Atop the lineup for the Smokies, Lance Reimold is the leadoff batter, and that's Brett Bateman. He was actually out of the game yesterday and then was getting the day off, but then all of a sudden there was extra innings. He came in as a pinch hitter and stole a base. He'll be leading off and playing center field tonight. A 351 on base percentage in his last 10 games. He is a tough out and he plays the game really hard. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. 4 for 11 this series is Bateman. I really like to see him back at the top of the order consistently. He hasn't played a lot of consistent games in a row, but when he's in the lineup, the Smokies have a great chance to get things started. 300 hitter with 7 RBIs, not much power, but a really good contact hitter. And remember, the night before, he had that game-tying hit on Wednesday night to send the Smokies into the 10th against Hayden Harris, who hasn't given up a single run all year for Columbus until Bateman got to him in the 9th inning.
Yeah, and Bateman, like I said, pinch runner, stole a base last night. We left him out there. We could have won the game, and we left him out there. So let's get him in tonight when the Smokies play at 7 o'clock. And great to, again, see all you guys as we hang out and talk about this Smokies Clingstone game. All right, it's time for the Exterior Home Solutions cleanup batter. Moving down the order, we have the Exterior Home Solutions cleanup batter of the game, and it's left-handed swinging Darius Hill, who had his first Smokies home run of the season last Sunday.
Yeah, Darius Hill with that 2-run shot on the scoreboard there, just got over the right field wall, had a great series in Chattanooga. Started off slow against Rocket City and then hit over 400 against the Lookouts, but back into that category this week where he's 1 for 14. I think sliding him into the cleanup spot today might help his confidence a little bit. Get some different looks from the starting pitchers, not much pressure. Hopefully we'll drive in some runners. And a veteran on this team who's been with the Cubs organization for a very long time. He was drafted in 2019 out of West Virginia, and a guy that's been in Double-A for 4 seasons. So veteran now in the cleanup spot for the Smokies tonight.
All right, and finally we get to the Wendy's double stack batter of the game. Richie, you're a big fan of the double stack burgers. And these guys are playing for you tonight. So this means if this batter hits a double, all the fans and Richie in attendance will go home with a coupon for a free double stack tomorrow. How about that? Double stack from Wendy's. The batter you'll want to keep an eye out for tonight is shortstop Hayden Cottrell. He wears the number 5. And he's tied for second on the team with 4 doubles.
There you go. That's the guy you want then. If you're a Smokies fan, definitely a doubles hitter this year, a lot of speed. So if you get the ball in the alleys, this is a guy that's able to stretch his legs and is very aggressive on the base pass. So this is the perfect guy on Friday night to have as your Wendy's double stack batter of the game.
Look, if you guys are watching right now and you're saying, hey, I'm missing out on all the fun at Jig and Reel, hey, we got you covered, right? We're coming right back here tomorrow, right, Rich?
Yeah, tomorrow night. We'll do it again.
We'll be back here tomorrow, so we want you guys to know that you're invited to hang out with us for the pregame show at Jig and Reel. What time will we be here? 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. Same thing tomorrow. 4 o'clock to 5:30, and giving away tickets as well. So be sure to come out to Smokies and Jig and Reel pregame show here. We'll give out 4 tickets for any home game this season. Doesn't have to be on Sunday. It's any game.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that the Smokies play at 7 o'clock on Saturday, right? That's tomorrow. And we're going to be here. You're going to want to get there early anyway because it's our celebration of the Peanuts. 75 years of Peanuts, and 2,000 Peanuts bobblehead dolls will be given out before the game. So you've got to be here early if you want to guarantee it. So come hang with us.
Right.
Then swing over to the stadium. There's not one but 2 choices that you can get. It's 2 selections. There's Snoopy the dog, and there's Charlie Brown. And they are actually wearing Knoxville Smokies gear. So as James Hancock, our trusty assistant over there that loves to get those autographs and collect any kind of memorabilia would know, these are they're going to be worth something. And this is a real collector's item.
Right, yeah. It's not just a plain Charlie Brown bobblehead or anything. Look at that. Jordan Wogu's showing it right now. It's got the Knoxville Smokies jerseys on it. I'm going Charlie Brown. I think you said you might be going the other way.
I'm a Snoopy guy, just like Wogu. But I'm excited about it. It's going to be one of the biggest days of the ballpark. So come by here, 4 o'clock, Jig and Reel on Saturday, and then swing over to the stadium. And let me tell you, too, mention Jenny Boyd, the owner of Boyd's Jig and Reel. She wanted to pay homage to Scottish roots in the Appalachians when she put this together, and they really have found it. She deeply values and cherishes it, and it's amazing when you walk through the door. You don't have to wear a kilt to come in here and feel like you're in Scotland, but you're talking about a bunch of great music. You've got some of the best Scottish and bourbon and whiskey that's out there, Scottish whiskey. So swing by Boyd's Jig and Reel. It's right by the ballpark. Features Celtic, Irish, Scottish, and old-time music sessions, as well as special singer-songwriter performances, and we appreciate the Boyd's Jig and Reel for having us. When we come back, you're going to get to see Connor Nelson, and we're going to do more from Boyd's Jig and Reel.
Looking for a great spot before or after the game? Visit Boyd's Jig and Reel, located in the heart of the Old City at the corner of Central and Jackson. Jig and Reel is a welcoming Scottish pub offering indoor and outdoor seating, live music, an impressive whiskey selection, and a full menu, even served late night. Whether you're grabbing a meal, enjoying drinks with friends, listening to live music, or playing a few games, it's always a good time at Knoxville's musical pub, Boyd's Jig and Reel. Open lunch to late night. Eat, drink, listen. Boyd's Jig and Reel.
And welcome back to Boyd's Jig and Reel. It's the Smokies live pregame show as we get ready for Friday night's action between the Columbus Clingstones and the Knoxville Smokies, our first ever pregame show. He was Mick Gillespie. Now I'm Richie Giuliano, and welcome this handsome gentleman here, Connor Nelson, to the stage. Connor, it's been tough sledding this series. The Smokies have lost the first 3 games, all in extra innings. What is one of your key to the games tonight?
My key to the game, I mean, you already mentioned one of them, not batting in the 9th inning. that would be superb. But I think it's going to be getting on the board first for these Smokies tonight. And the offense needs to show up. We were talking about it as well, that the pitching's been great all season. It's the offense that really needs to get their legs here, become more consistent, and be that presence that they need. And one of the guys that I'm looking for tonight may be throwing you a curveball here, but it's Parker Shavers.
Yeah, that is a curveball.
That's right, because, hey, he hasn't done much this series, all right? And neither have a lot of these Smokies batters.
Let's dive into our series standout so far after 3 games, and we're always going to start with the Smokies first. I think we'd be mistaken if we didn't start with Corey Joyce. What a series for Joyce. 6 for 14, 2 runs scored, a double, and RBI. He's walked twice, and last night was the first time he didn't have a hit in 7 games. Snapped a Southern League high 7-game hit streak against Columbus last night. They finally got to him, but my goodness, what a turnaround from this right-handed hitter out of Lexington, North Carolina.
Yeah, just released by the Tigers organization earlier this season. Cubs took a chance on him. He was eager to take that chance, and he's definitely making it pay off right now. He's got all the things you need to go ahead and make that big league level. He looks like a big leaguer. He wears those dirty mids. You know what I'm talking about there?
Yeah.
See, you only got enough confidence to rock those if you know you're headed to the big leagues. But
Right.
Corey Joyce, I mean, I love watching him in the box. A great presence. He knows when to take his walks. He knows when to be aggressive. And he's just putting it together right now for the Smokies.
I think this is a revenge season for him. You know, being released by the Tigers about a week before the season starts, you know, he's getting ready, you know, talking to his teammates. It was the Erie Seawolves, the AA affiliate of the Tigers. They're about ready to open up a stadium, play their first home game, and he's released. And he doesn't get picked up by the Chicago Cubs until April 15th. In fact, Joyce didn't even sign his contract before he got to Knoxville. He was taking batting practice, was going to play the next day. He wasn't going to play that night, but taking batting practice with the Knoxville Smokies. And then once he got done with BP, he went inside and signed his contract. I think this guy was motivated. He didn't care who he was going to play for. He let his agent do the work, but he came out here and he said, you know what? I got second life to play professional baseball. He went a couple weeks without it. Probably motivated him. I know he was back home in North Carolina swinging, but has come out here with a vengeance here in a revenge season.
That's right. I'm so happy to see the rest of the revenge season for him because he was nicknamed back on that Erie Seawolves team as El Smiley. But you know why? Because he would not smile when he got between the white lines of that baseball field. He is all business when he's out there. Big league vibes. We're excited to see him ball out for the rest of the season.
Second standout for the Smokies is Brett Bateman. 4 for 11 this series with an RBI in his 3rd year with the Cubs organization. I think Bateman in the top of the order has done a really good job as the settlement guy. I mean, Bateman is one of those guys, when he gets on base, you have about a 60% chance of scoring. I mean, he just brings some energy to the ball club. And, you know, fun fact about Bateman is he's now our team meteorologist. Did you know that?
That's right. Well, if you are checking out the Smokies social media, at Smokies Baseball, wherever you can find it, Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever, Brett Bateman, a little bit of the meteorology background there. And he was giving us a little bit of the weather report. He's out there in center field a lot. He's able to see the bright skies, and even when the rain is coming. So, great report from him.
I heard he went to a local elementary school today and, you know, talked about his job, you know, as a baseball player. Everybody's like, yeah, that's cool, man. Like, you played AA for the Chicago Cubs. But one of the kids was really intrigued by the fact that he loves weather. Just like our past broadcaster, Howie Boxley, who might be a meteorologist in the upcoming future. But look out for Brett Bateman tonight. I think he's the table setter in this lineup. And then the guy that I look back on probably had the biggest hit of the series is Jalen Palmer with that grand slam back in game number 1. Unfortunately, the Smokies weren't able to hang on to that game and lost it in extras. But my goodness, what a electric moment at Covenant Health Park when Palmer hit the grand slam in game 1.
Slapping it onto the concourse, just elite power, elite everything from Jalen Palmer, man. He can do everything. He flies around the bases, flies around the outfield, hits tanks. But you want to know what I'm going to ask you right now, Richie?
Let's hear it.
He was doing a specific thing when he got drafted out of high school. What do you think he was doing? He was in the middle of something.
Cutting his grass.
He was playing Fortnite. He was playing Fortnite with the boys. He was squatted up. I did ask him. He apparently did finish the game, but did not get the victory royale, sadly. No, they didn't. They weren't able to. He said his phone was blowing up. He needed to stay in the game, though, so he was dual tasking. Probably hit in a bush or something like that.
Right.
But
good tactic.
He was there with the boys while getting drafted. doesn't sound like a better scenario than that, and to a hometown New York team. But, man, is he excited to be here with the Cubs now in this organization, and it seems like they're bringing the best out of him.
All right, let's move over to the standouts from Columbus. They're the visiting team. This is Columbus's first year in franchise history. They were the Mississippi Braves last year, AA affiliate of Atlanta, and Mississippi's team folded up. They are now in the independent league of the Frontier League. They moved over to Georgia on the Georgia line, and they are in Columbus as the Clingstones, which for those that don't know what a Clingstone is, I didn't until we played them. Do you want to educate this audience of what a Clingstone is?
Oh, I would love to. So, and it's funny enough, I asked one of the Clingstones video guys who's on the road. He thinks a Clingstone is an orange. I didn't correct him just because I thought it was funny. But for folks, you listening back home, a Clingstone is a peach. It can be as simple as that, but there's a little bit of a deeper meaning to it because, of course, why would you just name any major league franchise, minor league franchise after a peach? Seems a little bit interesting, especially with the emoji now these days. But, hey, a clingstone peach is one where the flesh of the fruit clings tightly to the pit or stone. This is in contrast to the freestone fruits where the flesh easily separates from the pit when cut. So the clingstone's often more challenging to go ahead and attack than a typical peach, which is why their ownership, Diamond Baseball Holdings, stated that the clingstone's peach flesh, which stubbornly clings to the pit, symbolizes the team's grit, determination, and commitment to the Columbus community. I gotta say, I don't know if that really fires me up to be a Columbus Clingstone, Richie.
I'll say this, though. The Smokies haven't been able to get to the pit. They've been doing a good job clinging on to wins. They've won 3 games in extra innings this week.
That's right. And the Smokies need to bite off the rest of that peach, as Mick Gillespie would say.
Take a big bite into that peach today. All right, Smokies looking to get their first win of this series on Friday night. Hopefully you could join us here at Boyd's Jig and Reel tomorrow. We're going to be here at 4 o'clock. We're going to be giving away some tickets, a 4-pack of tickets to any Smokies game this year. So join us tomorrow night. We're going to do some trivia from 4 to 5 o'clock Eastern time. All right, now for the Clingstones, their top performers this series, Ian Mejia. The pitcher on, Wednesday night, dominated 7 scoreless innings against Knoxville. That's his 3rd quality start of the season. And Mejia currently holds a 30 2/3 inning scoreless streak. That's the longest stretch by a Southern League pitcher this season. That is insane. That's 5 starts in a row? He hasn't given up a start now?
That is correct.
A run?
5 starts in a row without a run. He was already coming into that last start leading the Southern League in ERA. And, of course, he's just extending himself even further. And the Smokies, I mean, they were practicing the curveball machine. Mejia is a guy who likes to lean on that breaking ball a lot. He's got both a good fastball that he uses in the strike zone. And the Smokies were trying to prepare for that. But, I mean, that's just preaching to this guy's stuff and how elite it is right now. Might not be seeing him in the AA level for too much longer. Moving
into their lineup, one guy that we have not been able to get out this week and has killed the Smokies is Kevin Kilpatrick Jr., their center fielder. One of the fastest guys I've seen in center field, hitting .364 this series with 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and this is only his first year in AA action. So a really good outfielder for Columbus. He robbed B.J. Murray of an extra base hit on Wednesday night with runners at 2nd and 3rd and only 1 down that I thought could have won the game for the Smokies if it dropped for a base hit. So he's been an impact player for the Clingstones this week.
Yeah, and he picked up the first RBI of last night's game. That was pretty much the Smokies' downfall. They were only able to pick up the 1 in the very bottom of the 9th inning. Couldn't win it out in extras. But they're going to have to limit this offense, and it's Grant Kipp on the mound tonight. I'm really liking how he's put together his season so far. He's working his arsenal very well in the zone when he's effective. And I think that's going to be the recipe for success here for him today, is just getting ahead early and sticking with those breaking balls and landing them in the zone.
Another guy that's been an impact player for the Clingstones, Geraldo Quintero, hitting .357 this series, ranks among the league leaders in triples with 4, and he's tied for 2nd in slugging. Surprisingly, a smaller guy, but he slugs it well. .435 slugging percentage. That's 8th in the league. He had a game this year where he hit a home run from each side of the plate. He's a switch batter, a fast guy, and scored the go-ahead run last night in extra innings. Just a guy we just can't get out.
Yeah, he was interesting looking at his numbers going into the series. His batting average was sub 200, but he was 2nd on the team in RBIs. So you could tell that he was in the lineup making an impact, just not exactly that consistent presence that you're looking for out of the middle of the lineup guy. batting under 200, but he's pushing it up here against the Smokies. It seems like the Smokies have been fire starters for a lot of these guys in the Southern League. It's really unfortunate so far.
I'll tell you what, the Clingstones offense against the South, one of the worst in the league, and then they play the North. They beat up Birmingham last week, winning 4 out of 5, and they've taken 3 in a row against the Smokies. And, you know, the Clingstones now have won 7 out of their last 8 games.
Now they're heating up in May. It was a rough April for a lot of the teams, and like you said, the North seems to just be beating up on each other while the South is just flourishing.
Yep.
I don't know when that's going to change, but one thing that I really wanted to point out, I know we're talking about the Clingstones right now, but yesterday I feel like we've totally looked over Jackson Wiggins' start.
Yeah.
The number 10 overall
Good
prospect
point.
in the Chicago Cubs organization threw 4 innings of just 1 run and looked good. He stands 6'6". He's a fireballer. What did you think from his outing last night?
Yeah, when he came out throwing 98 miles an hour on his first pitch, I knew we were going to be in for a good night. And you know what? What I really took away from his start was his toughness. Dude took a line drive
Right
off
off
the
of
back of
himself.
his shoulder, almost like on the tricep area, and stayed in the game. We saw the Clingstones pitcher the other night on Tuesday night. It was their opener. He just left the game because he had a little back tightness. Like, this dude got hit by a 100-mile-per-hour laser beam right into his back, and he stayed into the game like it was no problem. He even told Seth Clapp, he's like, yeah, man, I'm good. So, yeah, I think he's got great stuff. He's one of the top prospects pitching-wise for the Chicago Cubs and one of the top prospects for the Smokies. But I took away toughness from Wiggins.
And that's a great point to lead with because you're here in Double-A, pitch counts are lower, being held to innings limits. You got to show off what you can, and that toughness, that grit to be able to battle through whatever you're able to get that day. I think it's going to stay very competitive, especially with the rest of the starting rotation and how they've been throwing. I know Will Sanders loves getting on his fellow starting pitchers, making sure everybody's staying competitive, but also staying loose at the same time. And he was talking with Antonio Santos yesterday before the game, kind of just, you know, I didn't get all of the conversation, but more or less kind of showing him what it's going to take to go ahead and lead another bullpen life.
Right.
Santos has done that in the past.
Yep.
But he threw great yesterday. He struggled out of the pen in his whole career, especially at the major league level, but dominated last night. 4 innings scoreless.
Yeah, 4 innings scoreless. I didn't even look at that until the game was over. I'm like, wow,
Right.
he didn't give up a single hit in 4 innings. Like,
Nope.
man, Santos, that might be our new combination. If the Smokies can get to the playoffs, Wiggins and Santos, and the game might be over if you throw Tyransky in the 9th inning. But that's what they're going to need to do tonight. Looking at the pitching matchup tonight, we already discussed it earlier, but let's dive back into it. Burkhalter for the Clingstones, who's given up a lot of hits and a lot of runs, and then Grant Kipp, the right-hander, who's 2-2 with a 3.76 ERA. And I'll get your opinion on this since Mick already talked about it. What have you seen from Kipp this year, and what are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, what I've seen from Kipp this year, highlighted with his earlier starts, it was 3 in a row of 5 innings straight where he only allowed 1 run. In his last 3 starts, it's been a little shakier. And one of the things that I credit that to is rain. Rain has really messed up this starting rotation and how they've been able to get in a rhythm, how they've been able to carry out their weekly routines. And Grant Kipp has been at the forefront of that. It seems like him and Will Sanders just keep getting pushed back at the end of the week. They keep getting messed up by the rain. So I think those last 3 starts where he's letting up more runs than normal, I think that could be attributed to a little bit of the misplacing of the routine. I think this week we've had great weather. He's able to reset himself. I'm looking forward to another dominant 5 innings from Grant Kipp tonight.
Do you think this is the most favorable pitching matchup for the Smokies tonight with Blake Burkhalter on the other side? Burkhalter, a guy that struggled this year, let's just be honest. Even though he's the number 14 prospect for the Clingstones, I still think that the Smokies may have their best pitching matchup here on Friday night.
It's going to be fun. Friday night starters, you typically hear that when you're talking about college ball and your opening night guys, but Grant Kipp could be one of those guys, and I think you're right. This might have to be the most favorable matchup. This Clingstones team has a lot of top prospects, and they're all in the pitching staff. It's going to be tough for this Smokies lineup to navigate Burkhalter after not seeing him before. But, hey, Grant Kipp's going to be on the mound trying to keep that momentum in the first base dugout. I'm going to hope they attack him here, bounce him after 3.2.
We're here at the Boyd's Jig and Reel, just down the street. I mean, this was a nice walk for us. We just walked right out of the front gate and down the street here off Jackson Avenue on the corner across from Hannah's. A great spot for a pregame, and we're going to do another pregame show live from the Boyd's Jig and Reel tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And to reiterate our point, we're going to be giving away a pack of 4 tickets for your family to come out to a Smokies game tomorrow if you could win some Smokies trivia.
Oh, that was a good twist. I'm glad you finally mentioned that because we're going to have some trivia ready for you. Going to figure out who in the crowd is really a Smokies fan or who's a Smokies bandwagon here. We're in Knoxville. We know everybody loves baseball, but we got to educate you on this brand new team, your hometown team, going forward.
We'll take our final break. When we come back, we're going to have a couple more segments. We'll wrap it up here from the Boyd's Jig and Reel. First pitch, 7 o'clock between Columbus and Knoxville.
Looking for a great spot before or after the game? Visit Boyd's Jig and Reel, located in the heart of the Looking for a great spot before or after the game? Visit Boyd's Jig and Reel, located in the heart of the old city at the corner of Central and Jackson. Jig and Reel is a welcoming Scottish pub offering indoor and outdoor seating, live music, an impressive whiskey selection, and a full menu, even served late night. Whether you're grabbing a meal, enjoying drinks with friends, listening to live music, or playing a few games, it's always a good time at Knoxville's musical pub, Boyd's Jig and Reel. Open lunch to late night. Eat, drink, listen. Boyd's Jig and Reel.
Welcome back to the Boyd's Jig and Reel. It's our first ever Knoxville Smokies live pregame show here live from Boyd's Jig and Reel. Stop by, grab a drink, say hi to Connor and myself. We're going to do this twice this weekend, today and tomorrow, starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So hopefully you could join us. We're giving out a pack of 4 tickets, so it should be a good time. All right, the Smokies and the Clingstones battling tonight in game number 4 of 6. Columbus has taken all 3 games. So trying to get on the board today in one of the craziest series I think I've ever seen. To recap the first 3 games, Columbus has won all 3 in extra innings. The Smokies have trailed going into the 9th in all 3 games. They have scored a run in the ninth in all 3 games and have lost all 3.
They're just setting themselves up to keep these fans here at Covenant Health Park. They're ready for the huge comeback, the huge walk-off. Everybody has seen the video of B.J. Murray Jr. hitting that very first walk-off at Covenant Health Park. Just electric. Couldn't be a better ending. And that's what we've been looking for. The Smokies just seem like they're 1 hit away, 1 out away from getting that W, and tonight they got to get back in the win column.
All right, let's take a look at some of the former Smokies who are in AAA in Major League Baseball. The Smokies are the AA affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, proud to be their partner club. And it's been a great partnership between the Cubs and the Smokies because every year I feel like you see a Smoky in the big leagues. The last 3 years I've been here, there has been a former Smoky from the last season in the show. So let's highlight some of those guys, and we're going to start with Matt Shaw, who was on the team last year for Knoxville. Matt Shaw started 18 games in the big leagues this year for the Chicago Cubs, and he made his major league debut, in Tokyo?
I think that's right. Or
Yeah. In Japan.
In the series there while they were visiting, but unfortunately, not the best sample size for him in the big leagues, but this is a guy, very highly touted prospect. We know he's going to be back because you see what he's been doing when he got sent back down to AAA. He's killing it. 4 homers already, just pretty much as many at-bats as he had in the major leagues.
Yep.
He's killing it in AAA.
And Matt Shaw yesterday for the Iowa Cubs, our AAA affiliate, hit a walk-off home run. They won the doubleheader. He had a walk-off home run yesterday. That's what we thought the Smokies were going to do at the plate in at least the 9th or the 10th, but they came up short. Hopefully tonight maybe we'll get a walk-off home run. But I don't even want to get to that point anymore. I want to score a lot of runs early. I don't even want to see us bat in the 9th inning and win the game.
Well, Matt Shaw got them on the board early, too. You know, he hit a leadoff home run and a walk-off home run.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Pretty impressive from the top prospect.
So Matt Shaw doing some good things down AAA. He might get a call up soon back to the big leagues. I think he had some rookie mistakes, but, that's what we all do in this business. All right, we're going to move on to Cade Horton, who made his first career start today for the Chicago Cubs as they lead the White Sox in that Chi-Town battle 8-3 in the 7th inning. The Cubs all over the White Sox today. And it was the first ever start for, I think, the Southern League MVP that year, Cade Horton. He didn't get it. Matt Shaw got it, his teammate. Still well-deserved. But Cade Horton was an absolute beast for the Smokies in their 2023 championship run. Today he made his first start, and he qualified for his first ever win. He went 5 innings against the White Sox, gave up 7 hits and 3 runs. He didn't walk a single guy, and he struck out 2. And that was the best part about Horton. The guy never walked anybody. He attacked every hitter, and he probably had the best slider I've ever seen.
Yeah, one of Mick Gillespie's favorite talking points on him is that he's not afraid to throw inside.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to go ahead and get ahead of batters, using that fastball over the place. And then you said it. He's got one of the most elite sliders I've ever seen out of a right-hander. It's going to very much be what he needs to lean on there at the big league level to throw big league hitters off. And you said first start. It's nice that he got that first start, and then they warmed him up to the big leagues. He was an opener back in his first appearance on May 10th. Now here, fully into the rotation, taking Shota Imanaga's spot for now as he's on the IL. But Cade Horton getting a chance to show everybody what he's got. His line as he exited the game today, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, let up 2 homers. So that's a little bit of the problem. Let up a homer in his last outing and 2 strikeouts in those 5 innings. But like you said, qualifying for the win as the Cubs currently lead the White Sox 8-3.
Cade Horton was a pitcher in the 2023 championship run for the Smokies that got 2 victories in the postseason. They only played 4 games. I mean, he was money. I mean, he played the first game against Chattanooga, got the win. Then we got a day off in between after game 2, traveled to Pensacola, and then ended up winning the championship series on the road in game 2 to win the whole thing. 10-3 now, Cubs lead in the 7th inning. They are pounding the White Sox. The White Sox struggling this year. The Cubs 25-19, a great start for the Smokies parent club, as the Chicago Cubs are now a game ahead of St. Louis, who's 24-20, 4 games ahead of Milwaukee, and they also are atop the standings in the wild card. So this is a promising year for the Cubs, and because of a lot of Smokies players.
Yeah, and Craig Counsell was quoted, the head coach for manager, if you got to get real specific, for the Chicago Cubs, was quoted on April 30th that there's not a lot of room up at the big league level for a lot of these guys that are excelling in AAA, even AA right now. because it's going so well up there in the show. And, you know, he kind of jokingly said that's kind of how he'd like to keep it, as obviously that means everything's going well up there at the big league level. He even was quoted saying there's no room for Moises Ballesteros, but look at that. He scored 2 runs tonight, and he's 0 for 3. Still looking for that first big league hit. He's made a couple of starts now, but most recently called up from the AAA level after a 19-game hit streak. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, Ballesteros, when he got to AAA, you know, a guy I really missed seeing in the Smokies lineup every day just because of his consistency. He kind of reminds me of like a Pedro Ramirez right now. Ramirez played every single day. He took the ball the other way as a left-handed hitter, and he was just consistent and always had a good attitude. So I'm really happy for Ballesteros to see his progression the last 2 years. He went from being like the number 30 prospect to the number 5 prospect in like 1 year.
That's right. And you know who else is really excited to see him performing at the big league level right now? His former backstop mate, Pablo Aliendo.
That's right.
Just talked to him yesterday. He was so elated when he got when he heard that Moises Ballesteros got the call. Guess what he was doing? When he heard that Moises got the call, guess what Pablo was doing?
Was he playing Fortnite again?
He's playing Warzone, actually. So, you know, this team has some controversy over whether the best game is Fortnite, Warzone, with those shooter games. But, yeah, Moises, big friend of Pablo Aliendo back in the day. Pablo loving to see that his former teammates getting the shot at the big leagues.
So the Smokies have had 2 catchers now get to the big leagues in the last 3 years. Miguel Amaya, who was a starter in 2023, he started a catcher for the Cubs. And then you've had Moises Ballesteros, who was a catcher in 2023/24. He's now in Chicago. So a lot of progression from the Smokies lineup, and they've really gone through the ranks fast and up to the big leagues. And then Mick's favorite guy, Hollywood Pete Crow Armstrong, who is really starting to excel in the big leagues. The first year he got there, it's kind of like what Matt Shaw went through. He struggled, was in his head. Even when he hit balls hard, they were right at him. But he has come back this year, and I think he might be the best center fielder in Major League Baseball, and he is starting to show off some raw power.
Statistically, I think he most definitely is the most valuable defender in all of baseball, whether it's outfield or infield. The guy flies. Isn't that right, Cole? James, Jimbo. He doesn't like him. He's more of a Cedric Mullins fan over here doing the producing for us tonight. But it's all right because PCA, he plays with so much intensity. Sure, he'll throw a helmet every once in a while, maybe huck a bat. And as long as you're not in the direct contact zone of that, you'll be all right, because that's the kind of people that you want out there, the people who care about taking every pitch seriously, taking every play seriously. You see the highlight of Pete Crow Armstrong diving for a ball that was 30 feet out of his reach. But as a pitcher on the mound, you got to love that effort.
Right.
Maybe the trainer was like, all right, let's cut that out. We're not trying to get any injuries after that. But, man, to see how this guy plays the game every single day at 100%, and then the kicker is then when he puts the ball in play, it's just amazing to see him fly.
Yeah, good luck to get him out.
Exactly.
One of the fastest guys in the league. And another guy, you know, this isn't even a guy on our team that I kind of want to highlight. Chandler Simpson.
Yeah.
Who was one of the best prospects for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's starting to line it up in the big leagues. Led all of minor league baseball last year in stolen bases. But a guy for Tampa Bay that has been electrifying. He made a brilliant catch. I think it was his second game where he caught the ball, banged into the wall, fell down, you know, flexed his arms, pumped up the crowd. What I'm getting to here is there's so much talent in the Southern League coming through these systems. Every day you come to the ballpark, you will probably see a future major leaguer.
Shoot. Hometown favorite Christian Moore visited just a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
The Trash Pandas. You had Chase Burns, another former Vol, and Wake Forest. Not sure what their mascot is, but
I think it's a Demon Deacon.
Demon Deacon. Yeah, that's a fun one. But graduated from there after 2 years as a Vol. A lot of top prospects in the Southern League, like you said. So if you're looking to come out to Covenant Health Park, plenty of promotions and plenty of big leaguers that you'll be able to see.
We'll do one last preview of tonight's game. Columbus and Knoxville. Both teams are 16-18. The Smokies have lost 3 in a row. The Clingstones have now won 3 in a row and have won 7 out of their last 8. So they're the hottest team in the Southern League right now. And the Smokies, you could say, the coolest in the Southern League. Let's get into a couple keys of the game before game number 4 tonight. Connor, I'll start with you. What's a key to the game?
My key to the game is going to be getting going on the bases. When the Smokies are at their best, they're swiping bags left and right. And obviously that starts with getting guys on base. But like we said, this is probably the most favorable pitching matchup they've had all series. So it's going to be getting on base and moving guys over naturally. We haven't been a team that's excelled at the home run ball. We're tied for 5th in the Southern League right now. we've been able to manufacture runs on the bases with our stolen bases. We're second in the Southern League. We were first yesterday, but Pensacola took it back from us. But we're second in the Southern League right now in stolen bases. So it's also the most fun to watch when our guys are flying around the bases, swiping it left and right. That's my first key to the game. What do you got, Richie?
My key to the game is hitting with runners in scoring position.
Oh,
that has been the thorn in the Smokies side this series. 1 hit in 10 at-bats last night with runners in scoring position. That's just not going to get it done. You know, when you only score one run a game, you're not going to win many games. So I think that's my key for sure. Situational hitting, too. It doesn't have to be driving in a runner or the guy in scoring position. It could be getting that guy over to third base and then knocking him in. And that's what Columbus does really well.
That is true. And Columbus, man, they got a lot of solid hitters at the top of that lineup. But what the Smokies pitching staff really needs to do is take advantage of that bottom half. You've pointed out some guys who have been really hot this series that haven't been hot all season. So what the Smokies need to do is attack those guys a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure what that means, whether it's taking a little bit more time in the video room or just pitching more to themselves. I think you sometimes see a lot of big leaguers that try to get away outside of themselves. That's the one thing that Jalen Palmer loves focusing on, is staying grounded, staying within himself, not trying to be something that he's not. So I think that's exactly what these pitchers need to lean on. We have plenty of guys with fantastic stuff, guys who have had success against this team in the past as well. So as long as they get ahead and keep attacking these pitchers in the zone, free passes have been another thing that's kind of been our Achilles heel this year. Got to limit those. I think we'll be just fine.
Let's dive into the starting lineups before game number 4. The Smokies have lost all 3 of this series, all 3 in extra innings. And Connor, I'll let you take us through the visiting Columbus Clingstones, who are 16 and 18.
Yep, leading it off, it's going to be their shortstop, the speed demon number 13, Cal Conley, switch hitting batter. Second hole, it's going to be Ethan Workinger, one of the best bats in the entire Southern League, batting second, playing left field. In the 3-4 holes, it's 2 switch hitters, David McCabe playing third base and Drew Compton playing first base. So the hot corners rounding out the 3-4 spots. 5, 6, 7, it'll be Adam Zabrowski at DH, Kobe Cotto at second, Chandler Siegel catching, and then rounding out the lineup, it'll be Stephen Paolini in center field and Cade Kern in right field. So Kilpatrick, mentioned him, so hot this series, out of the lineup tonight, getting the day off with Blake Berhalter on the mound.
Yeah, for the Smokies, they start Brett Bateman as their leadoff hitter in center field and hitting .304, table setter at the top of the order with 7 RBIs. And then their most consistent hitter, Pedro Ramirez, bats second at third, hitting .284 this year, and a tied for the team high 17 knocked in. Corey Joyce, the hottest hitter on the team, batting third and playing second, hitting .311. Darius Hill cleaning it up, not used to hitting in the cleanup spot today. In right field, batting .238. B.J. Murray bats fifth, the designated hitter. Hayden McGeary batting sixth at first, hitting .218. Good to see Hayden McGeary back into the order. A guy that hasn't played much ball this year. He's been dealt with a couple injuries, so good to see him consistently getting back in back-to-back games. Hayden Cantrell bats seventh, the shortstop. Parker Chavers bats eighth and left. Casey Opitz, the 9-hitting catcher. So that means that Pablo Aliendo, the starting catcher, out of the lineup tonight in Game 4. And then Grant Kipp as the starter, right-handed pitcher, 2-2 with a .376 ERA. He was the first ever pitcher to toe the rubber at Covenant Health Park back on April 15th, and excited to see him get the start here tonight.
Yeah, excited to see this new lineup for Lance Rymel. This is definitely mixing it up a little bit. Corey Joyce, I don't think has ever been in the 3-hole. You mentioned Darius Hill slotting down to the 4. B.J. Murray in the 5 after 0 for his last 10. I heard a rumor that he threw his bat away, so he's going to be rocking some new lumber tonight. We're going to see how that impacts his game. And then, like you said, Hayden McGeary into the lineup. And Cantrell and Shavers have both been really hot. So having them right behind each other in the 7-8 spots, I think it's going to be fun to watch if the Smokies can really start stringing together some of those bigger innings, which we've seen them do in the past.
And hopefully they have the offense tonight. They need to get going early. They've lost 3 games in the series. All right, let's talk about this weekend for our ticket giveaway, our memorabilia giveaway. It's Peanuts Night tomorrow night, which means that Charlie Brown and Snoopy bobbleheads are back in action. 2,000 of them given away at the ballpark tomorrow night. So be sure to get there early before the gates open. Only 2,000 available. We already have a pre-sale of over 4,000.
Oh, and the jerseys are pretty phenomenal, too. I don't know if they've been put out there too much. I think we may have some visuals up here, but oh, yeah.
There you go.
Just like that. So imagine that background right there, that yellow Peanuts thing right on the script of the jersey.
Right.
It's going to be pretty fun to watch for anybody bidding for those in the auctions. I think it's going to be a pretty hot
Charlie Brown or Snoopy for you if you had to pick a bobblehead tomorrow?
Snoopy. No
Okay.
hesitation. It's also partially because I have a Woodstock bobblehead
Yeah.
and a Brewers jersey, so he needs a friend.
These are a commemorative specialty item because they have the Knoxville jersey on them. It's not just a regular bobblehead. As you take a look on your screen here, Snoopy's got the road grays, and looks like Charlie Brown gets the home baby blues.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet uniform. You can see his little curly hair tipping out in front of that hat, too. Maybe we need to tuck it down a little bit more. But, hey, and they'll be in attendance tomorrow night. Have you heard?
Yes, I have. So 5:30 gates are going to open, and Charlie Brown and Snoopy will be down the right field lines of the ballpark tomorrow. So bring the kids out. Should be a great night for baseball. That'll be game number 5 of this 6-game series. Connor Nelson, Richie Giuliano, Cole Schmeltzer, live from Boyd's Jig and Reel here in the old city of Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll be here tomorrow, too, at 4 o'clock till 5. And we're going to be giving away a 4-pack of tickets tomorrow if you could win some Smokies trivia. So we'll see how big of a Smokies fan you really are. Those 4-pack of tickets are good for the entire regular season, not just next day's game. So
Redeemable for any game.
be sure to
Pick a
come
day.
out here. Anything you want to add there, Connor, before we start game number 4?
All I can say is that if you haven't been to Covenant Health Park yet, you need to. Get it on the bucket list, and if you need a better excuse, come and drink with us at one of these fantastic live pregame show locations and have a chance to win some free tickets.
I'm up for beers before a game.
All right. I think that's a great way to end it.
All right, we'll do it tomorrow from Boyd's Jig and Reel at a 4 o'clock start tomorrow. Be sure to come out, get some tickets. We'll talk to you tomorrow here from Boyd's Jig and Reel.
Fans, for the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies! Woo!